Thank you, Jasmine, for inviting us on a Zoom meeting to brainstorm about our thoughts on divine command theory. Good evening, everyone. My name is Venetia, Christia, Toledo. And Jasmine?
Hi everyone, good evening. I am Jasmine Borja. Okay, next is Flynn.
Hi everyone, I'm Flynn Charles B. Ortiz. And gusto pong next po si Kuya Ralph.
Evening, everyone. My name is Gavriel Ocampo. And may nominate ako.
Si Leann.
Hello everyone, magandang gabi. I'm Leann Cajucom.
Okay. To begin with, I prepare a game called Wheel of Names as an icebreaker. Tapos, sasagutan natin siya bago tayo mag-proceed sa mismong tanong na sinend sa atin ni Sir na Divine Theory. First, let me share my screen. Sasagutan ko muna yung mapipindot ko, tapos saka ako sasagot sa number 1 and show ko yung screen nung number 1 later. Favorite quote. Well, marami ang favorite quote. Unang pumasok sa isip ko is, as someone na gusto mag-risk, is do it scared. Kahit natatakot ka, do it scared. Kasi, yung takot na yon, mafe-feel mo na mas magiging worth it siya sa dulo. Kasi, sinubukan mo. Yun yung favorite quote ko. And, the question is yung number 1. What are the implications of accepting a theory in which a morally perfect God could command actions that seems morally abhorrent to humans? Well, sa akin, may dalawa akong nasagot is yung faith and obedience at moral dilemmas. Yung faith and obedience, it plays a heavy emphasis on faith and obedience to divine commands because individuals who accept this theory would likely believe that their moral duty is primarily to follow God's command without necessarily understanding or agreeing with them. Example, yung kay Abraham and Isaac sa Bible, God commands a devout believer to sacrifice their own child as the test of faith. The believer faces a profound moral dilemma, torn between their love for their children and their obligation to obey what they perceive as a direct command from God. So, makikita mo dun yung parang contemplation, pero in the end, mas nasunod kasi ni Abraham, yung nasunod niya yung ginawa, yung comment sa kanya ni Lord. And sa moral dilemmas, it can lead to moral dilemmas where individuals may find themselves torn between following what they perceive as morally right based on their own understanding or obeying what they believe to be a command from God, even if it seems morally abhorrent to them. Example yung in-example din ni Sir, like yung a healthcare professional strongly believes in providing the best care for their patients. But it receives a command that they interpret as directing them to prioritize certain patients over the others. Like yung situation nga ni Sir na binigay nung nag-pass lesson tayo, na they must decide whether to follow their professional code of ethics or what they believe to be a divine command. For the next idea, I would like to call Ralph Gabriel Ocampo for answering question number 1, but wheel of names first. Memorable vacation, yun.
Vacation. Last 2018, Japan kami ng family ko. Yan, enjoy ko naman yung travel. So, number 1, what are the implications of accepting a theory in which a morally perfect God could command actions that seem morally abhorrent to humans? For me, for example, God said that He only created man and woman. Between them, there is the LGBTQ plus community. The LGBTQ plus community might feel discriminated by most of the society because God said that there is only man and woman, therefore. In the eyes of other people, they see the LGBTQ plus community as immoral because that is not the teachings of God. Kumbaga, nadi-discriminate yung LGBTQ plus sa ating community dahil si God na ang nagsabi na He only created man and woman. Yun lang.
Ayun, ang ganda naman ng opinion mo and for sure may nakaka-relate din dyan sa mga problems na ganyan. And next is Leann Cajucom. What's your thoughts on number 1? But first, Wheel of Names. Go. What do you love about yourself?
What I love about myself is I'm honest, I'm kind, and I'm friendly.
Ayun, galing naman. So, sa number
Next
1,
question.
yeah.
Okay. If we accept that theory in which a morally perfect God could command actions that seem morally abhorrent or strongly disliked by humans, several things can happen. First is challenging moral institutions. It challenges our innate sense of right and wrong because some divine commands may go against our deeply held moral intuitions and values. Second is trust in God. It suggests that we should trust that God knows better than we do, even if we find some commands deeply disturbing. And last is carefully interpretations. It highlights the importance of correctly understanding and interpreting God's commands to avoid misunderstandings.
For our last, Flynn Charles. Go. One thing no one knows about you. Ano yung bagay na hindi alam sa'yo ng ibang tao?
Sa ngayon, di ko maisip kung meron. Kasi pagka kaharap ko ang halimbawa ibang tao or family, as much as possible gusto ko sanang maging totoo palagi at maging open. So sa ngayon di ko maisip kung meron ba na isang
Okay.
bagay na hindi alam sa akin ng ibang tao. Pero siguro meron pa rin. Hindi naman mawawala yun.
Okay. So, number 1, answer.
Number 1, tama yung isang example kanina ng story about kay Abraham. Sa story na yon, ang story kasi na yon is parang wala siyang anak and yung anak niya is binigay. Yung answer ko sa number 1 is yung story about kay Abraham. Isang example yun ng may pinapagawa sa iyo ang Diyos pero sa tingin mo pwedeng maging sa tingin mo mali or parang hindi siya sa tingin mo hindi mo kayang gawin dahil parang labag sa kalooban mo ano. Pero yung example doon is si Abraham wala siyang anak and yung anak niya ay ibinigay ni God sa kanya. Then may situation na parang sinubok siya ng ama na kaya mo bang ihandog yung anak mo para sa akin, ganun. So walang alinlangan, ibinigay niya pa rin yung anak niya kasi nauunawaan niyang hindi naman siya magkakaroon ng anak kung hindi ito pinagkaloob sa kanya ng ama. At yun yung answer ko para doon.
Galing. Okay. Let's proceed to the next question. If different religions and religious texts claim different divine commands, how do we reconcile conflicting moral directives? How can we determine which divine commands, if any, are genuinely from a morally perfect God? Well, meron sa Polsci na mga approaches and sa tingin ko, pwede kasi siya ma-apply sa kung how we can determine which divine commands, if any, are generally from morally perfect God. Number 1 is the comparative approach. It is a comparative study of various religious texts and traditions. This involves examining the similarities and differences in their moral teaching, seeking to identify common underlying principles that may transcend specific cultural or religious contexts. For example, various religious traditions, including Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism, all have versions of the Golden Rule, which emphasizes treating others as one would like to be treated. Well, by recognizing this common principle adherent of different faiths, it can be used it as a foundation for ethical decision making. They may prioritize actions that promote compassion, empathy, and respect for others. The next is the historical approach sa policy, ganun yung tawag. Pero, so, in this historical or traditionalist approach, understanding the historical and cultural context in which religious texts were written can be crucial. It helps to discern the intended meaning of certain passage and commands, and to differentiate between principles that were culturally specific and those with broader moral implications. The situation is a religious text may provide specific guidelines on attire and modesty that reflect the cultural norms of their time, which may conflict with the contemporary notions of individual expression and gender equality. The historical context allows individuals to discern that clothing regulations were often influenced by social norm and practical consideration. This understanding can lead to an interpretation that emphasizes principles of humility, respect, and self-respect, allowing adherents to apply them in a manner that aligns with modern sensibilities. Last one, meron pa, open dialogue. Naririnig nyo ba to sa parang open forum, like feel ko, isa din siyang approach na pwedeng makapag-unite sa mga differences ng iba't ibang religion. Well, engaging in an open dialogue and cooperation with individuals from different religious tradition can foster mutual understanding and potentially lead to shared ethical insights. This approach seeks common good ground while respecting the uniqueness of each tradition. Through open dialogue and interfaith engagement, the community experienced a shift in attitudes and perceptions. Individuals begin to recognize the shared values, ethics, and aspiration that underline their diverse religious beliefs. As a result, tensions diminish and a greater sense of unity and respect among different religious communities emerge. These lead to a harmonious and inclusive community where individuals from various faith tradition coexist in mutual understanding and cooperation. That's my number 2. How about Ralph? What is your answer?
For me, for my opinion, I think this is where our culture or natural beliefs will come into sight. Because in the first place, there is only one God. It just differs because of the different teachings from different religions. It also just depends on the situation and to the person you are dealing or talking with. In the end, we just have to always remember that we should respect each other's beliefs and religions. So, kung may nakikita tayo sa ibang tao na halimbawa sa religion nila, kung paano nila i-engage sa kanilang community, yung culture nila or yung religion nila, i-respect na lang natin kung ano yung nakikita natin kasi sa ibang tao nakikita nila mali yun. Like sa mga Muslim, hindi sila kumakain ng baboy dahil madumi daw, na nakasulat naman sa Biblia. Yung mga ganon, i-respeto na lang natin sila. So, kahit pa paano, ay magkaroon pa rin tayo ng communication in a better, in good terms tayo sa lahat ng religion. Yung hindi tayo parang nagtatalo-talo, parang nagkakaroon ng conflict. Yun lang.
Next is Leann. What's your opinion?
Okay, for number 2, when various religions provide different rules from a divine source, reconciling conflicting moral guidance or determining what's right can be challenging. Different approaches can be taken to address this issue. So first is people from different religions can talk and share their beliefs to better understand each other even if they don't agree. Some individuals follow their own religion's rules while also respecting what others believe. People can study different religions to figure out what they personally believe is right, and determining which commands, if any, truly come from a perfectly good God is complex and not easy. Here are some approaches people use. So some claim they had personal experiences that confirm God's commands, comparing religions by looking at how different ones have similar commands, thinking this might be closer to universal truths. And last is religions communities may agree on what they believe is divinely inspired, strengthening their faith. So people use these approaches to deal with different religious rules. It's a personal choice based on what they believe and how they want to live. So remember, it's a personal journey, and different people and religions have their own ways of understanding what comes from a good God.
Thank you, Leann. Last is Flynn.
Sa number 2, una sa lahat gusto kong sagutin yung tanong na 'to bilang miyembro ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Base sa paniniwala ko, sa mga aral namin, sa mga aral na itinuro sa amin, walang pagkakaiba hindi iba-iba ang utos ng Diyos sa atin. Nagkaroon lang ng iba-ibang paniniwala dahil din sa pagbibigay ng interpretasyon ng iba't ibang mga tao at iba't ibang mga relihiyon sa bawat aral sa Biblia. So, doon nag-start yung pagkakabuklod-buklod ng paniniwala ng mga tao, dahilan kung ba't ang dami ring religions ngayon. So, para sa akin, mahalaga na irespeto kung ano yung pinaniniwalaan ng isang tao. Kung sa tingin mong mali yung kanila, hindi na para ipamukha sa kanila na mali kayo, tama kami. Pwede mong i-share yung kung ano yung pinaniniwalaan mo, pero hindi sa way na ipamukha mo sa kanyang mali yung pinaniniwalaan mo, kundi para bigyan lang siya ng pagkakaunawa din sa aral na pinaniniwalaan mo. And sa paniniwala ko rin, para malaman natin kung alin ba ang tunay na aral ng Diyos. Ayon sa aming mga Iglesia ni Cristo, mahalaga na ang bawat paglilingkod natin at pagsunod sa utos ng Diyos ay dapat lahat yan ay nakabase sa Biblia. So, dapat nating suriin kung yung mga pinaniniwalaan nating aral ay tunay bang nakasulat sa Biblia para malaman kung ito nga ba ay tunay na aral ng Diyos o utos ng Diyos. Yun lang.
Ang galing ng sinabi mo. Na-hook ako sa part na iisa lang yung utos ng Diyos, pero tayo iba-iba yung paniniwala natin. And mas mahalaga nga talaga na dun tayo nagbabase sa utos ng Diyos, hindi sa kung ano yung naririnig mo, yung ginagawa ng ibang tao. And I think with that, parang yung mga approaches na nabanggit namin, parang second option na lang siya sa mga nangyayari in reality. Pero kung maipupush natin lahat na maniwala or magbasa ng Biblia, I think mas magkakaroon or hindi na natin kailangan ng mga iba't ibang sabi sa iba't ibang religion. Kasi nga, may isa na tayong pinaniniwala na yun yung utos ng Diyos. Very well said. For number 3, what would a world look like if morality were based on a different framework entirely rather than divine commands? How might human behavior and societal norms differ? Yung question na to is parang, paano kapag wala na yung pinaniniwalaan nating divine theory? Ano na bang mundo yung meron na ikinakaharap natin? Well, in a world where right and wrong come from our shared human values rather than from what a higher power say, things would change quite a bit. On the brighter side, people would really focus on understanding and caring for each other. We think hard about what's fair and consider how our actions affect everyone. This would lead to more efforts to make things fair for everyone, like fighting for equal rights and taking better care of our planet, no matter what religion someone follows these values would apply. Pero it wouldn't be smooth like sailing because figuring out what's right might be tougher without a clear-cut guide. People might have different opinions on what's truly important. This could lead to disagreements and tough choices. Without a big boss in the sky setting the rules, some people might feel lost or even argue what's the best for everyone. I'd be a bit like steering a ship in a big sea without a fixed star to guide us. So in this new world, each person would have a big say in what they believe is right or wrong, based on what we know and care about. We all need to think carefully and talk openly about tough questions. This would let us make decisions that respects everyone's needs and values, making a fairer and kinder world for everyone to live in. Pero personally, hindi ko na-imagine yung sarili ko na walang Diyos. Kasi siya yung center sa akin eh. So, feel ko, if wala yung divine theory na, or divine command na sinusunod ko sa sarili ko, wala din ako dito. Hindi ako yung nakikita nyo ngayon. So, next is si Ralph.
For me, I think the world will become more chaotic and confusing if it is not based on divine commands. Because the divine commands is like our basic guide in life. Many people doesn't know the divine command. That is why they didn't know what is right or wrong. For me, sa akin, kung wala tayong parang path na sinusundan sa buhay, parang ang hirap, ah, hindi mo alam kung saan ka pupunta. Hindi mo alam kung tama ba yung ginagawa mo o mali. Kaya para sa akin, kung wala man tayong tinatawag na God, parang medyo, alam niyo yun, yung parang wala kang pinaniniwalaan, wala kang parang, ah, yung bang pinaninindigan na dapat ito yung gawin ko, dapat ito yung sundin ko, na ganun. So, ayun, parang magiging worst lang yung buhay nating lahat kung wala ang Panginoon.
We're on the same side. So, next, Leann.
So for me, I think if right and wrong didn't come from gods or religions but from some other way of thinking, the world would be look like this. So yung mga tao, marami silang magiging ideas about what's good and bad because there wouldn't be one religious rule book. And people might decide what's right using their own thoughts and by understanding how others feel rather than following religious rules. And there will be debates. People would talk and argue more about what's good and bad to figure out it together. And societal norms would be more diverse, based on reason and empathy, and open to discussions and charge in a world without divine commands for morality. And treating each other well in things like fairness and human rights might be very important in deciding what's right.
Flynn, ulit.
Sa number 3, para sa akin, magiging magulo ang mundo kung wala na tayong sinusunod na mga utos ng Diyos o aral ng Diyos. Tignan na lang natin sa bansa natin mismo, Philippines. Ano tayo? One of the most religious country sa buong mundo. Pero ngayon pa lang, dahil sa dami ng reliyon na nagkalat sa buong mundo, nagkabuklod-buklod yung paniniwala natin, nagkaroon tayo ng iba't ibang paniniwala, doon pa lang magulo na. Kasi sa tingin natin, ang daming utos ng Diyos, iba-iba ang utos ng Diyos, pero dahil lang yun sa iba't ibang paniniwala ng mga reliyon na kinaaaniban natin, dahil doon, magulo na. Paano kung mawalan pa ng relihiyon? Sa tingin ko, lalong gugulo dahil ang mga tao, sa tingin nila, sarili na lang nila yung dapat nilang sundin. Kung ano ang tingin nilang tama o mali, yun, doon na lang sila magbabase. So, magkakaroon ng gulo kung sakaling wala na tayong pagkakaisa o sinusunod na utos ng Diyos. Yun lang.
Thank you, Flynn. Last, Jasmine. Hello. Thank you for filming.
All right. So answering that question, I think if morality were based on a different framework rather than divine commands, human behavior and societal norms could differ in several ways. Unang-una, kapag walang divine command framework, morality might be based on human reason, empathy, and the well-being of individuals and societies. So, possible na mag-lead to a more secular and humanistic approach to ethics. In such a world, moral judgments and decisions might be made by considering the consequences of actions, the principles of justice and fairness, and the promotion of human flourishing. So people might focus more on empathy, compassion, and golden rule of treating others as they would like to be treated. So societal norms could shift towards a greater emphasis on individual autonomy and personal freedom as long as they do not harm others. There might be a stronger emphasis on equality and social justice with efforts to reduce systematic injustices and promote equal opportunities to all. However, importante pa rin to note that morality is a complex topic and different frameworks can coexist within societies. Even in a world without divine commanding morality, there would likely be a diverse range of moral beliefs and ethical systems. So that's all. Thank you.
Yes, it's a wrap. Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and opinions about sa divine theory. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.